According to a study released by the Violence Policy Center, Nevada ranked first in the nation in the rate of women killed by men for the third year in a row, with a rate of 2.62 per 100,000. This rate was more than double the national average. Nevada has held the top position for 5 of the last 6 years. In 2010, 35 women were murdered by males in Nevada for homicides in which the weapon used could be identified. 45% of the female victims were shot and killed with guns. Of these, 73% were killed with handguns. For homicides in which the victim-to-offender relationship could be identified, 91% of female victims were murdered by someone they knew. 56% were wives, common-law wives, ex-wives, or girlfriends of the offenders. The executive director of the Nevada Network Against Domestic Violence states reducing domestic violence homicide is the responsibility of all Nevada's communities. As this report points out, women in Nevada are at a higher risk of being victims of homicides perpetrated by people they know and love. Much more must be done in our state to change this outcome. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's unpublished supplementary homicide report is released each year to coincide with Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. The study concludes the picture that emerges from when men murder women is that women face the greatest threat from someone they know, most often a spouse or intimate acquaintance, who is armed with a gun. For women in America, guns are not used to save lives, but to take them. Yearly test scores that show how well our kids are doing have been released. The scores determine whether a school is passing or failing. It's part of a federal program called No Child Left Behind. This is the last year the state will have to follow the guidelines of that program. Nevada is among more than 30 states that receive waivers to opt out of the program. It's long been criticized for using an all-or-nothing approach to grade schools, largely based on yearly test scores. This past school year, the 2011-2012 school year, Nevada actually saw a slight bump in the number of schools who passed those yearly tests and evaluations known as adequate yearly progress. It went from 45% to 49% of schools making the grade. But things are changing. The federal government has given Nevada, along with 32 other states, the go-ahead to create what they see as a more fair and adequate way of grading how well students are achieving. The state is using a plan called the Nevada Growth Model. This new approach focuses on how much each student is growing academically from where they started to where they are now. Schools also will be graded under a new system awarding anywhere from 1 to 5 stars. It's based on a 100-point system where schools are judged from everything from academic performance and reducing gaps in achievement among struggling students to school climate. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. That's your news across Nevada.